Okay. Um, okay, it's recording. So, this is the example model that Richard gave me, and I think it's from 2500 or something. I'm not sure. But basically, this is the full model that he started with, and I know you guys started with a grid like this.
Correct.
And what he basically wants you to do is have um have um have a diagram that looks something like this, where each node kind of gets separated. So as you can see, like uh, this node corresponds with this grid line, and this node corresponds with that grid line. So in order to do this, let me put this into perspective. I'm gonna hide all that. Um, you're gonna take these grid lines and you're gonna divide them up um, on this model. So what I did, I just like copied and pasted them and just like pretty just extruded them. Um, maybe make them bigger like that. And then I made them in a separate layer so that it's easier. Um, split lines, change objects layer. And I just made them in a separate layer like this, and then uh, split objects to split, and then split with these. Um, I'm gonna do that real quick. Give it a second. So now that it's all split, there are a few I know there's a few like grouped members. You're gonna have to ungroup those and group them back together in order to split them. But the general idea is that you like take each one of these nodes and um, you you split them, you group them together so that it's easier to work with them. Group, oh wait, no, ungroup, group this like that. And to make it easier for yourself, I don't know if you guys know there's this command called freeze. Wait, let me select it, freeze. It's basically just locking it so you can't, so here I'm clicking on it and it doesn't,
Okay.
um, you can't select it. So it'll make it easier for you to like select things that you
Okay.
need. And if you want to unlock it, you would write thaw. So basically I did that for each node. And so I got these groups right here. Let me delete this real quick. And I'm gonna show you something real quick. So in RHINO, I don't know if you guys are aware, there's this panel called named positions. Um, so Oh wait, sorry, before I go into that, let me show you how to make an axon view. 'Cause um, so the first way, the one that most studios I see are making is the 45 degree one. So to make that one, uh, we're just gonna take a plane, this one right here, and make sure it's, yeah, gumball object. So there's this gumball, and then if you click on it, align to object, so make sure it's like that. And then you rotate it 45 degrees, and then another 45, or make sure it's facing this way, actually. There you go, 45. And now you're going to take this corner right here, attach it to here, and just to prove it that it's 45 degrees, you can go into drafting, angle dimension, 1, 2, and now, oh, drafting, angle dimension, 1, 2. Oh, that's interesting. It's not how it usually goes. There you go. And now you can see in properties that it's 45 degrees. So that's how you check if it's 45 degree or 30 degrees. So for a 30 degree one, you would go ahead and make it so that this angle would be 30 degrees. So now you would go right, orient camera to surface, and you want to make sure that this arrow is pointing outward. So sometimes what happens is that this arrow is pointing downward. You don't want to do that because it's going to create this view right here. And that's not the view that you want of your project. So you want to make sure that your arrow's pointing towards you. So when you do this, it sets your camera here. And then you can pan, it won't change anything. Just don't orbit. So orient camera to surface. You can pan, but just don't orbit. And lastly, you want to make this into parallel view. So that way lines are straight and all that. Now I'm gonna hide this axon plane and create a named view. I'm gonna call it, leave a little bit of space, call it axon, like that. Yeah. And so if I leave it, press axon, it's still in the same view. Now that we know the panel about the named views, there's also a panel called named positions. So if you go show panels, there should be this one called named positions. And what's nice about that is that now that you have all like the grouped nodes and stuff like that, you go ahead and save them all in this position, and I called it together. So, okay, together, yes, replace it. And now that if I like move this one here and then maybe move this one there and move this one here, and I'm just like, oh no, I don't want it there anymore, you can put them back together. So that's really nice. You don't have to like make a bunch of them. You can just, and hide them. You can just move them. So, for the diagram, we want them to be exploded as well. So you would take these, you want them all on the same height. So I would take them somewhere here. And now I'm gonna take and maybe put this one back 100 feet. And this one put back maybe like 50 feet. This one put out 100 feet. And then this one put out 50 feet. Yeah, looks like these are a little close, so I'll maybe move it another 5 feet out, like that. So, and I would go ahead and name this as a new position called exploded. Yes. And so basically, if I ever wanted them back together, I would have them here, and then exploded is here. So yeah, that's that. And next you want to create grid lines. So those are the old grid lines. So let me create new ones. So for your diagram, you want them to be like legible, like which one is connected to what. So I'll take that one there and connect it to there, and then this one connected to the bottom one right here. Yeah. Oh, and as you can see, like some of the poly surfaces here are enclosed. Just for cleanliness of the model, maybe go back and like actually close these so that you don't have extra lines. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just gonna ignore that for a bit. So yeah. So now that I have all the grid lines, what's next? I think you just go ahead and make 2D that, so make sure it's in Axon view. And yeah, you wanna make 2D, call it Axon diagram. Oh, and wait, let me show you which ones, what my settings were for this. So I have scene silhouette on viewport diagram. I mean, viewport rectangle, you don't really need that, but sometimes it's helpful. And then group output is important, and then maintain source layers, and then view. So axon diagram. Yeah. Then you want to go top view, and before you put this into Illustrator or whatever program you want to like fix up the line weights or like make it pretty in, you want to just make your life easier and have your line weights organized. So like the guidelines, they would be in the guidelines section. And then sculptures and furniture. So there's like a few sculptures in here. So these sculptures go. The sculpture goes into this layer. And then the sculpture goes into that layer. And now you want to have a silhouette of this so that it's like outlined and clear, so that'll be the thickest layer. So I made that into one, so I use that, and then the command called curve boolean. And instead of going in and clicking on each geometry, you can make your life easier and just click outside, and it'll just automatically do that for you. So yeah, that's for outline, and then group that together and change that into geometry, change object layer. So I do that for each of those. Same for this one. So this would go to geometry and then curve boolean outside like that. And then the geometry, I'm making it slightly lighter than the outline. So that there's a little bit of a hierarchy there. And I'm gonna go and change this to geometry and then outline curve boolean this. And this last two right here. So this would go into geometry and then curve boolean. And then last one. Maybe not with this guy. And then say curve outside. Oh. So this would be in geometry. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and scale this down, because in Illustrator, you want to have it in by the origin and like about the same size. Otherwise, it's just gonna output it really weirdly. And it is just going to be outside the bounding box, and it's going to be really hard to extract this line work. So we're gonna go ahead and scale this down. So I don't know how big your guys' paper is, but I'm just gonna say make this 24 inches. 24 inches. And then go ahead, move 0, 0. Right? Okay. And then I already have one. I already have one kind of pre-made, so I'm just gonna use that one for the example. So I took this line work and I went ahead and file export selected. Go into tutorial, excellent tutorial, and then I'll make this into Adobe Illustrator file, Axon 2. And then you want to preserve model scale 1 to 1 inch, hatch exported as solid fills, and order layers. That's important. So that the line work that you put here is already in its own layers. So okay. Now that it's exported, You want to go into Axon tutorial, Axon 2. It's loading. Okay. As you can see, like there's definitely some cleanup work you have to do in RHINO before this, but I'm just showing you real quick of like the idea behind it. So edit artboards, I'm just guessing that this is gonna be like a 36 by 36-inch drawing. So I just have this, have this in the middle, like that, for example. And you can go ahead and layers. So as you can see, like I have the guidelines layer, I have the sculptures and furniture layer, and then the geometry layer, the outline layer, and then these ones. These ones are the ones that we moved into geometry. So you would go ahead and make the guidelines layer. So the stroke, I made mine 12, 5, 12, 5 at like 2 points. Yeah, that's good. And then maybe go ahead and make the outline thicker. So stroke outline, make it like 3 points. And then geometry, you want it thinner. So maybe go 2. And then furniture, you want the lightest because it's the least important. 0.8. Yeah, so that's the basic idea behind it. Definitely play around with it like until like you like the way it looks. But that's the basic tutorial for an exploded axon. The most important thing is like orient camera to surface to make the axon view, and then the named positions, make one together, one exploded, the group, and then exporting selected into Illustrator. These types of diagrams, there are a lot more effective in showing like what you guys have right now is because you guys have like a long building with 2 party walls. So I think this is gonna just show the circulation a lot better. And it could also be really helpful for a program. So if you guys have like a program diagram, this would also be really effective. Um, Otherwise, you guys already probably know that you can make exploded diagrams that are level by level. So level 1, level 2, level 3. Yeah. So that's that. Let me check if there's anything that I'm missing. You could also use this for circulation diagrams. So maybe if you like make a separate layer um with the staircases, um you could highlight those and maybe even make a little circulation diagram. So that's an idea as well. So yeah, any questions or anything about this that wasn't clear and I can go over again?
I have a question.
Yeah,
For guideline, what is the thickness we should have?
for line weights.
Yeah, for the guidelines. Yeah, for the red one.
That one, I mean, at least for this scale, um, I made it 2 points. But I think it just all depends on the scale. I just made this as a 36 by 36 sheet. Um, do you guys know how big these diagrams have to be for you? Do you know what Richard asked for?
Normally it's 24 by 24.
It's good, but
24 by 2.
yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be next to. I think it's gonna be next to our writing, I believe, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Um,
We need 480 words describing circulation and the different nodes.
I
So
mean, we can experiment right now real quick. So 24 by 24 sheet. 24 inches, not points, guys. That would be insane. Um, and then let's say this is like, I think I saw a picture of it actually. Richard showed me. Um, but it was like facing the other way. But let's say like the diagram is like here in the corner, right?
yeah,
That's how it was. Yeah.
or bottom, on the upper or bottom.
Or the bottom. Yeah. So
The
maybe
writing is
two
usually on
points
the
is
top.
actually too thick, so maybe you can make it into like 1 point. But it all comes down to like printing and checking at the very end. The most important thing is just like order it into layers and then just guess and check afterwards. At least that's how I've been doing it. But yeah.
Okay, thank
Um,
you.
mhm. Um,
Okay,
oh,
so
and yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
this is recorded, so we can just play back later. Like,
Yeah, I was recording this. Was I? Yes, I have been recording this. Um, yeah, and was the 30-60 degree degree axon um enough of an explanation, or do you want me to show you like step by step? Because
I think
I
this is good. Yeah, we could
yeah.
It's good.
Um, all right. Let me check one more time so I'm not like missing anything. Um,
So I had a question. So when we do the 30-60, we're just changing the 24. Wait, the what you did in the beginning before we start to 30, right? Is that right?
yeah, let me double check. Let's make this. I don't want to give you guys the wrong numbers because I know that's sometimes a little tedious to like restart and okay, let's put those same positions together. Um, yes, and then let's see. We have axon plane. And then we want to make sure that this is 30. And then I believe, oh, it's a good question. This would be also 40. No, this would be, no, this would rotate 60 degrees this way. And then 30 degrees that way. Hmm, me double check because this should be, since this was 60, this should be 30 right here. Uh, Drafting, angle, properties. Yeah, this should be 30. And so orienting camera surface. It's facing up like that. Think I think the problem here is that this is supposed to be actually 45. Let me fix that real quick. Damn, I forgot. Okay. So this would be 60 and then 45. Yeah, and then this should be drafting, angle dimension, 30 degrees, yes. And then now you can surface. Yeah, this looks like it's 3060 now. And then you would do the same thing, maybe, but because this is a new angle, when I explode it like this, it doesn't align with those ones. Yeah. So you're gonna have to just adjust the guidelines. And it looks like in this view, it's a little hard to read the nodes. So I think he might actually be asking for a 45-degree one, because this is a lot more easy to read than the one that I just showed. Like that one. So this would be Exxon 3060. So this one was the 45-degree one, and it looks like it's a lot easier to read than this one right here. But definitely double check with him.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna end this tutorial unless you guys have more questions, and then I'll answer individual questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna end this.